Good afternoon. Welcome to the first style that I'm going to teach you how to make a pinata, video 1. This is going to be the flat extended style, or the flat shape extended style of pinata. So I already have, when you're ready to do your pinata, what you're going to do is draw what you want on your pinata on your flat piece of cardboard, and you need to have a back, right? We're going to extend the base. I have an example for you that I can show you. So here's our flat example of our pinata. As you can see, there's a hook, there's a place in which we could put our candy, and then it's two flat objects that are being held together with tape before we paper mache it. So the pinata is basically like you take the 3D letter and you take the paper mache mask project, and then you can join them to make a pinata. So to show you how this one starts off, I have my shape, I have the back of my shape, as well as this time I decided to do 6-inch walls. So these are 6 inches. I've already pre-bent them for you. I also have a paper clip that I bent. Sorry, camera's over there. I have a paper clip that I already bent, and I have a hot glue gun warming up. As a reminder, you do want to hot glue a clip. Obviously, pinatas have to hang in some way, so remember to hot glue a clip. We do not need to cut a hole for candy until after we mache it, so step by step. First things first, I drew my shape onto the flat piece of cardboard. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to assemble my 3D shape, or my flat shape and the walls. However, instead of using hot glue, I'm going to be assembling it with tape. The reason is if I use hot glue and then I paper mache over it, my pinata is going to be too difficult to break, which kind of ruins the party. So I'm just taping it basically to hold it together in the meantime as a temporary aid before I paper mache it. So I have my base, got my walls. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be taping these together. So I'm lining them up, grabbing a piece of tape. I'll show you up in the air. Tape, tape. Obviously tape is not as nearly as strong as hot glue, so I'm going to put, honestly, kind of a lot of tape. So taping this, right? And then I'm going to be lining it up with the bottom of my shape, because I like to look at the drawing side. Okay. Alright, so as you can see, I'm just going around and I'm going to be taping and assembling the walls to the bottom of my shape. So I'm going to finish that and I'll be right back. Okay, so I finished taping up my walls to the bottom of my pinata, or the back side of my pinata. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to work in the same circular motion and attach the top, closing up my pinata. Obviously, as you can see, that shape is going to remain hollow, and the reason is we obviously need a space for that candy to go in order to call it a pinata. You gotta be able to fill it with candy. So I'm lining it up, and again, I'm just using tape in about 1 inch to 2 inch gaps in order to hold this all together. Again, this is a temporary solution before I could paper mache the whole thing together. All right, so as you can see, making my way around. I'm gonna finish this up and I'll be right back. All right, so now I have my whole, the form and the shape of my pinata completely assembled with tape. So I'll back it up a little bit so you can see there's my piglet. Obviously tape's all the way around it, attaching all of my walls, okay? And then the back side is attached and taped as well. Obviously, if I threw this thing off the balcony, it would not be structurally sound. This is just a temporary fix before I can mache everything up. However, I would like to address and inform you that you do need to attach a hook before you start machining this project. So obviously, I want Piglet to stand up straight, so I'm going to be attaching my hook directly to the top of my pinata. So I have my hot glue gun ready and warmed up. And when I say hook, it's just an unfolded paper clip. So I'm going to apply a lot of hot glue, 4 or 5 pumps worth, 6 even. Okay. And I'm going to rest this paper clip directly in the glue. Kind of make sure it's really buried, because I want to make sure that it's safe. So no matter the weight of my pinata, as well as the candy that I add inside, it's not going to fall, break, or snap off. Again, I will be paper macheing this whole project, and I will be macheing over this. So I'm gonna hold it until this hot glue is dry, and then I'll come back and show you the paper mache process. Okay, so I officially have my hook dried on and stayed in place on top of my project. So what I'm going to be doing is beginning the paper mache process. For the paper mache process, we are going to be using a starch as a adhesive to attach our newspaper to our project. So I just have a little recycled yogurt cup full of starch. However, if you need a home recipe on how to do paper mache at home, my advice would be a really good home product that I've used multiple times on my own projects is you mix half baking flour and then half water, and it's going to create a thick paste. So by doing that, you don't have to go out of your way to buy something. However, it is a very strong adhesive when it dries, like concrete, and it will work just as well. It's going to be the same exact process, so if you need to mix, feel free to mix that product together. So the paper mache process is fairly easy. Most of you are in 3D design too, so that being said, this should be a reminder on how to paper mache. So I have my strips already pre-cut. Yours, if they're a little bit longer, that's fine. I'm just recycling some extra ones that I have. So I have my strips of newspaper. What you're going to do in the paper mache mix is we're going to dip completely in the mix, okay? Whoops. We're going to wipe off the excess, okay? And then we're going to place around our project. So I'll show you a couple more times. I'm gonna take it, dip it in the mix, okay? Wipe off the excess, place, and as you notice, I like to personally rub my projects. If you don't rub them and you have a bunch of air bubbles, you're not gonna get that lock of the paper mache mix to your cardboard. So, dip, wipe, lay it down, and then compress it on, or massage it on. Dip, wipe, lay it down, massage it. You're gonna notice as I'm doing this, number one, I'm keeping it in the same direction. Number two, I am overlapping the edge. And last but not least, I am overlapping each piece of cardboard from one to the other. The reason I am doing this is because I want a very tight seal. When all of this dries up together, I want my piñata to structurally be safe. And if I leave a big gap, I'm really not doing the best that I can to make sure that it's sealed up in the mache mixture. Also, what I'm going to recommend is to do at least 4 layers of paper mache over it to make sure that it's structurally safe. If you're using the flour water mixture, you can actually do 3 layers. It should be more than enough. However, I noticed that the starch personally isn't as strong as the flour mix. So, or maybe I just make the flour mix too strong. I don't know. So I'm going to continue this process. I'm going to continue the first layer of mache all the way around, and I'll be back to show you the second and third and fourth layer. All right, so I have officially finished paper macheing 4 different layers of my piñata. Not only have I done it on the front part, I wrapped it all the way around the walls, as well as I continued it onto the back. So now that it's really, as you can tell, sopping wet, my goal, my job now is to, I already massaged it and gave it a good compression to make sure there's no air pockets or anything underneath. My job is to go hang it up on the hook that I've already attached and left exposed, and I'm going to let it 100% dry, and then I'm gonna paint and piglet. All right, I'm gonna give my whole project a coat, and I'll be back to show you how to lay on the tissue paper to finish up your piñata.